because that's really what it is. It's the photographs and stuff that come through the feed.
Right.
And I was like, what? Because she had like
because she did put it out
stuck
there.
under the bed, like the booty's up in the air, with the head stuck under the bed. At 60.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the
Hell
consequences
yeah. I
when you
mean,
said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to...
Terrence Howard offered 50 Cent some unique footage of Diddy's private gatherings, but you won't allow him to broadcast it. Terrence Howard claims that because he refused to engage in questionable activities, he was ejected from the industry. We seem to be finally getting a peek at who all these powerful individuals were now that he has revealed these new details about Diddy. But Diddy is not solely responsible for this, as Terrence comments regarding Diddy's departure were somewhat more extensive than Young Miami's. He is claiming that Young Miami was present during these private gatherings, but the true story is that he supposedly captured her on camera doing something that is, well, more inappropriate than you can ever imagine. Let's go straight to the point, because Terrence Howard's remarks against Diddy are absolutely surprising. And the wild aspect of this is that he revealed the truth unprovoked, as nobody was aware that he had any inside information on Diddy at all. He did a podcast interview a few days ago, and let's just say that he had some things to say about Diddy. What he heard confirmed what many others have been saying about Diddy for years, so his experience wasn't all that different. All that questionable stuff about allegedly trying to trick individuals into uncomfortable or awkward situations, Tim stated, however, that Diddy called him and requested help with his portrayal. We do know that Diddy does act occasionally, but not often, so this is interesting. A few shows have featured him, but nothing so significant that Terrence Howard would have to be his acting instructor. Despite his belief that it was all business, Terrence started acting extremely differently as soon as he got there, as though he had other ideas. He shut him down cold because Terrence wasn't for any of that.
Like you're a woman, when you approach a real man about his masculine.
Additionally, he allegedly intended to make it clear that Diddy had tried to impress other men besides him. He claimed that Diddy had tried to impress every single man who attended his events, and that as a result, each man had lost his dignity.
Manhood? I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the Puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than...
It isn't safe. It isn't safe. It seems like nobody is truly safe at Diddy's parties because everything is so unclear. But what's most bizarre is that Terrence has been discussing this kind of behavior in Hollywood for a while now. He has been claiming that he was punished and expelled from the game because he disobeyed their rules. A few years ago, Terrence discussed what he says was the real reason he quit acting and left the business. No, it wasn't just that he wasn't getting roles or was tired. In short, he shocked everyone by announcing in December 2022 that he was retiring from acting. When he took a stand, people started calling him difficult and acting as though he was the problem, which confused many because it seemed like he was still getting huge jobs and a following. When a woman in the industry speaks up or deviates from the norm, the industry turns the tables on her. This is a cliche that we have seen countless times. He would not have been compelled to leave the game in that manner due to any public drama or scandal, but Terrence asserted that there was more going on behind the scenes. He claimed Hollywood didn't like it when he refused to comply with the industry's attempts to place him in challenging circumstances that he felt were meant to undermine his character. Then he disappeared, finally coming out of retirement, but he has been cautious ever since he came back into the public eye. drawing attention to what he describes as the questionable aspects of the entertainment business. He frequently bemoans the pressure he experienced to wear a dress on screen, something he vehemently opposed. According to him, those sequences were staged purely to ridicule him or to challenge his masculinity and had nothing to do with the plot. This is not a novel topic, as some black male performers have expressed throughout the years that producers attempted to coerce them into wearing dresses in movies or skits where when he got down with Club Shay Shay, Cat Williams expressed the same thing. He talked a lot about his whole identity issue and revealed that it's much more common in Hollywood than most people might think. He claimed that this very issue has caused him to decline large checks on multiple occasions. Cat says that the temptation to dress up or act in ways that compromise integrity usually comes with a price.
Hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
I need to know. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But once the interview with Cat Williams was over, Terrence stepped in to address the matter. He put a stop to the gossip that he was fired due to his temper and that he was too hard to deal with. He explained that the true reason he was replaced was because he had something really intriguing to say and refused to let the industry use him or take away his identity. The reason they had let him go was that, "I'm not raising sheep, I'm raising men," he said. "My father taught me to never take vertebrae out of your back or the base out of your throat, because the culture that was created for men to flourish has been supplanted with an androgynous one. Being a guy is a curse," he continued, "but the more successful males aren't made weaker." In a follow-up interview, Terrence reiterated that there is a secret plan to undermine black males because they consider powerful black men as the man has been challenged with a new formula. He said in the interview, "The majority of males are designed to be less assertive and lack strength and force. Black men's strength is viewed as a threat, but white men's strength is tolerated. To allow guys to be men and still enjoy a woman's attractiveness, I believe they should broaden their narrative rather than removing a few commercial zones to fit in someone's story." Fans' attempts to piece things together are not a surprise given his recent comments about Diddy. And in all honesty, it's furthermore, according to an insider, Terrence is potentially concealing much more damaging information than he has already disclosed. 50 Cent says it's all related to Diddy's side project. Following the viral success of Terrence's interview, 50 Cent said he would not respond, saying, "No comment. I'm staying positive. God help us all. It was Miami the Young." However, it seems that he has changed his mind because he's making outrageous promises about having some sensitive private footage. According to speculations, Terrence recorded the footage during one of the parties he attended, and it allegedly depicts young Miami in some compromising scenarios. This isn't shocking though, because young Miami has been accused by some of being more aware than she lets on. She is even allegedly involved in these gatherings as a participant rather than a bystander, according to certain claims. For example, his assistant Gina Juan tweeted a picture of herself with Diddy. "Tina, you've been in a serious relationship ever since I entered the picture. You spent a decade crying for a baby. As someone who is emotionally invested, you have existed," Miami remarked. "You were a baby that was crying on Tasha K because you wanted a baby, poor Sushi." And she attempted to call out Gina. "You are an actual weirdo, and I own a Korean friend. Diddy hasn't communicated with you since the Oscars, and now he's discussing getting rid of children. Chun-Mi, let that heart go if I wanted to be your friend." The V, who wants to stay anonymous, is claiming in court documents that she was bullied by one of Diddy's other associates after she became pregnant with Diddy's child. That's what Diddy would have made you feel unwanted. Diddy's home is said to have coerced Jane Doe into taking substances. Defendant Combs ordered Jane Doe to visit his home in Los Angeles in July 2022, the paper states. She was made to drink something she couldn't identify while in his bathroom. Later, Jane Doe found that it was or contained medication and other chemicals that caused her to lose consciousness and black out at random times during the night. In addition to refusing to take substances, she said that she woke up with bruises all over her body, a sign that something had gone wrong while she was unconscious from the drugs. She claimed Combs would force her to perform for him and would pressure her with substances and alcohol until she lost control. She said that once she eventually fell pregnant with Diddy's child, Young Miami allegedly harassed her until she miscarried. She would awaken from her slumber with wounds and bruises, but she couldn't recall how she got harmed. That was up until July 2024. The complaint against Combs is still underway, according to the statement, and Jane Doe informed defendant Combs about the positive pregnancy test soon after taking one. Carisha Brown Lee, the defendant, was harassed by Combs' associate after being summoned and instructed to intimidate her on several occasions. Jane Doe miscarried and became inactive with defendant Combs and his staff for around 3 months. It's not hard to see why Young Miami, also known as City Girls, would target a lady of that quality, given how strongly she reacted when Diddy had a child with another woman in 2022. Yes, you are all aware that Carisha Brown Lee is Young Miami. Furthermore, Lil Rod's lawsuit included even more disturbing claims against Young Miami, asserting that she was not only mostly responsible but also had some other family members who are involved. According to his updated lawsuit, Young Miami was a passive observer of everything that happened at Diddy's parties, where the questionable behaviors may have taken place, in addition to being a guest. He went so far as to mention a specific incident at an event where he said Diddy had Young Miami's cousin attempt to sell him drugs. Mr. Combs was under the influence and offered drugs to Mr. Jones. After dismissing him, Mr. Jones walked to the bathroom. Young Miami's cousin entered the bathroom when she was using it and allegedly behaved inappropriately. Mr. Jones believes she was sent there by Mr. Combs to pressure him. Entering the restroom, she dropped to the floor and began to engage in improper behavior. The cousin of Young Miami refused to accept Mr. Jones' rejection and tried to further initiate contact in front of Mr. Combs and his employees after following him out of the restroom and beginning to undress. Furthermore, according to the paper, on another occasion in Miami, Florida, on Thanksgiving night in 2022, Mr. Combs requested that Mr. Jones and DeForest Taylor enter the studio restroom so that he could do drugs with them, and requested a $100 payment. Fortunately, Mr. Jones didn't have one, so he wasn't involved. As a result, Mr. Combs waited a bit longer to use substances with Young Miami. Young Miami was also accused by him of helping Diddy transport substances and delivering them to Diddy wherever he needed them. Court records indicate that the plaintiff and the Combs organization engaged in some sort of arrangement. Liff Jones personally witnessed Mr. Combs do a few lines in his dressing room, according to the Virginia Water Festival's criminal complaint. Defendant Sean Combs wanted the package, but Brendan forgot it. So defendant Christina Corworm brought it on the jet from Miami. He went on to claim that Young Miami worked for Diddy as a personal assistant and was paid every month for her services. Daphne Joy and Young Miami Jade received a monthly payment for their services as Mr. Combs' employees, according to the court documents, using a wire transfer from Robin Greenhill that described the defendant's continuous questionable activity. Many claims have been made linking Young Miami to Diddy as a result, and it seems that 50 Cent has some high-quality footage of her. Since 50 Cent is as bold and unfiltered as they come, he is really the last person you want on your team. Things appear to be going well for Young Miami when you consider the more than 20 years that this battle with Diddy has lasted, and Terrence Howard may be telling the truth. But 50. In the meantime, I'd like to know what you guys think about Terrence Howard's comments drawing Young Miami into the controversy once more. He will eventually leak the audio and stir up the drama again. It's hard for a content creator to gain subscribers for this video, so please view the next one and share your opinions and comments below.